Welcome to Mr. Yang's classroom.
In this lesson, we're going to be going over one-step, two-step, three-step, and multi-step equations with distribution. You'll be solving for x. There will be 10 example questions. 5 of them will be one-step equations, 2 will be two-step equations, 2 will be three-step equations. There will be one multi-step equation at the end. In this first one-step equation, I'm going to be solving for x. To do that, we need to isolate x by itself on one side of the equal sign. Well, how is x attached to this positive 3? Well, it's by addition. So what is the opposite of addition? That's right, it's subtraction. So we're going to subtract 3 to both sides of the equations, leaving us with x is equal to 18 minus 3 is 15. This next one-step equation is similar to the first one. How is this negative 9 attached to the x? Well, it looks like it's by subtraction. What's the opposite of subtraction? That's right, it's addition. We're going to add 9 to both sides of the equation, leaving us with x on the left side is equal to, what is 18 plus 9? That's right, it's 27. Another one-step equation. We have negative 12x is equal to 48. Well, what does it mean when negative 12 is right next to x? That means that this negative 12 is attached to x by multiplication. And what's the opposite of multiplication? That's right, it's division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 12 to isolate this x. Well, negative 12 and negative 12 cancel out to become 1. So that's going to be 1x, or just x, equals 48 divided by negative 12 is going to be a negative number because there's only one negative sign. 48 divided by 12 is 4. We have another one-step equation here. We have x over 5 is equal to negative 10. And when there's a line here, that means that this 5 is attached to x by division. What's the opposite of division? That's right, it's multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by positive 5. Well, positive 5 and positive 5 cancel out, leaving us with 1x, or just x, equals negative 10 times positive 5 is, it's a negative number because there's only one negative, and 10 times 5 is 50. This next one-step equation has a fraction. We have 2/3 x is equal to negative 6. Well, to get rid of a fraction, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of that fraction. Reciprocal means that you flip that fraction upside down, so 2 over a third becomes 3 over 2. Well, what happens when you multiply 3 times 2? That's equal to 6. And what happens when you multiply 2 times 3? That's also equal to 6. 6 over 6 is actually the same thing as a big 1. So therefore, this left side becomes 1x, or just x, is equal to negative 6 over 1 times 3 over 2. Well, negative 6 times 3 is equal to negative 18, and 1 times 2 is equal to 2. Therefore, when we have x equals negative 18 over 2, that becomes x equals negative 18 divided by 2 is 9. Here's our first two-step equation. That means that there's going to be 2 different steps. So we have 2x plus 8 is equal to 16. We must first deal with everything on the same side of the equal sign with our variable term that's not directly attached to the x. So we need to get rid of this positive 8 first. So let's do the opposite, which is subtracting 8 to both sides of the equation, leaving us on the left side with 2x is equal to 16 minus 8 is 8. Next, we have 2 times x is equal to 8. So let's do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And we have 2 and 2 cancel out to become 1. 1x is equal to 8 divided by 2 is 4. We have another two-step equation. So we need to get rid of everything on the same side of the equal sign that is not directly touching the variable x. So let's do the opposite of minus 6, which is plus 6, to both sides of the equations. This cancels out, leaving us on the left side with x over 5, and on the right side we have 4 plus 6, which is equal to 10. Now we have x over 5, which means x divided by 5. The opposite of division is multiplication. So let's multiply both sides by 5. And we have 5 and 5 cancel, leaving us with x is equal to 50. Here's our first three-step equation. We have 9x plus 9 is equal to 7x minus 5. We have x terms on both sides of the equation, so we need to combine them into one side. So let's subtract 7x to both sides of the equation. Well, 7x and 7x cancel out. 9x minus 7x is 2x. The plus 9 comes down, the equal sign comes down, and we're left with negative 5 on the right side. Next, we need to leave this alone and get rid of everything else on the same side of the equal sign with the variable. So let's subtract 9 to both sides. This cancels, leaving us with 2x is equal to negative 14. And our final step, we need to undo this 2. 2 times x, the opposite is dividing by 2. So let's divide both sides by 2 to get 1x, or just x, is equal to negative 7. We have our second three-step equation now. We have negative 2x plus 8 is equal to 10x minus 16. Again, x terms on both sides of the equal sign. So let's move this 10x term to the left by subtracting 10x to both sides of the equation. So now we have negative 2x minus 10x, which would equal negative 12x. Let's bring down the positive 8. This term cancels, leaving us with negative 16 on the right side. Now again, we have to get rid of all terms that are besides this negative 12x on the same side of the equal sign. So let's subtract 8 to both sides. That leaves us with negative 12x on the left side. This cancels. And negative 16 minus 8 is equal to negative 24. Finally, we have our last step. Let's divide both sides by negative 12 because it's attached by multiplication to x. That cancels to become 1x is equal to negative 24 divided by negative 12. That's going to be a positive number, and that number is 2. Our last problem is the most complex one because there's distribution involved. So let's distribute this 3 term to both of these terms before we do anything else. So 3 times 2x is going to equal 6x. And 3 times negative 2 is going to equal negative 6. Let's rewrite the other terms down here like so. 4x plus 10 equals 14. Now, let's underline the like terms on the same side of the equal sign. We have 6x and plus 4x. And next we have negative 6 and plus 10. So let's combine those terms. We have 6x plus 4x is equal to 10x. And again, we have negative 6 plus 10 is equal to plus 4. And we'll just rewrite equals 14. Now that looks like a two-step equation. So let's go ahead and solve. Let's leave the 10x term alone and get rid of everything else that's on the same side of the equal sign. So let's subtract 4 to both sides, leaving us with 10x on the left side is equal to 14 minus 4 is 10. Now finally, for our last step, let's divide by 10 to both sides of the equation to get this to be 1x on the left side is equal to 10 over 10 is equal to 1. Thanks for watching.